Yeah, I mean,
It should be up about a percent. It's up about a percent as well. The S&P is up
yeah,
about a percent.
the futures, let's see, S&P futures pre-market. Yeah, about yeah, 0.6, 0.7%. Pretty good.
Mm. There has been some noise about some of them going against the ceasefire, right? There's been some violations on the Israeli side. Apparently, did you see the video in which Trump sweared? He just did. He just said that these guys have been fighting for so long that they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, no, I think basically what happened was here's what it looked like. So towards the end of the ceasefire, the Iranians and the Israelis they said they agreed to the ceasefire, but I think the Iranians wanted that last say because
Yeah.
from their perspective, again, this is their perspective, is that their perspective is that they're not the aggressors. So then they basically started, lobbing some crazy, stuff towards Israel, and then I think there was one major impact. So to which the Israelis responded, and then they signed a ceasefire. So I think these guys wanted the last say, so they again, shot a few more volleys of rockets, and then now there's an exchange going on, I guess.
I don't know if it's going to end that way, though.
So if you remember the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, towards the end of the ceasefire, there was still exchanges going on, right? But eventually, the ceasefire was
Yeah,
achieved.
actually, you're right.
So I don't know. Maybe because maybe that's essentially what we probably see, but you never know.
But are you sure? I mean, I don't know if these guys are even going to stick to it. Like, I'm not sure if they'll even stick to their word.
More volatile, than what we had, I guess. But let's see.
So,
The guys from Lebanon basically said, when I say the guys, I don't want to take their name. But anyway, so they basically said, they just came out with a soft condemnation and things like that, but nothing really happening on that front. Houthis, a little bit of activity, but yeah, nothing more than that.
yeah, so that's one good news. And that's why you're seeing the markets currently pretty much flying, right?
Yeah, yeah. Also, I mean, yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
The whole party seems to have, yeah,
They probably forecasted oil rate 90, and right now, WTI is at 65.89. Brent is at 68.73, so it's down 3.8% and 3.85% respectively. So this is a drop in spot. Yeah, this is a drop in spot. Imagine the effect on futures contracts.
there has been some form of a, I mean, some form of a ceasefire. I'm not really sure how much of this holds. That's one, that's something that I'm kind of worried about, whether this thing holds or it doesn't. And if it does, what's the likelihood that, there isn't a few shots just fired left, right, and center that can cause us to, get all of the stuff that's currently happened out of the window, right? It's just something that's currently playing on. But anyways, let me just go over a few things. You have a few of the high beta stocks up about 3.5%. You have Lemonade up about 2, Affirm up about 3.5. You have Reddit and TTD up about 2%. Most of the other ones are up about a percent and a half. I think we'll also see another 1%. So if we do open here at this point, we would be about 0.81% away from an all-time high, right?
Maybe if we have a quiet night over there, which again is very unlikely, but something we're hoping for, then tomorrow, then essentially the rest of the week is probably going to look pretty good. And then the only thing we have to worry about are, Liberation Day 2.0. Yeah.
about 18, so that's fallen. So that, in a way, that is something that is also currently playing out. Uh, Let me go over a few more things. So let me just come and tell you a few of the things that I've been looking at. You are looking at one of the things that I did see was Trump lashing out at Israel for apparently he asked them to send the planes back so that there are no more there are no more bombings that happen in Iran. He's like, turn your planes back and come back home now. Don't do this. I'm saying don't do it. Don't do it. But they anyways went in because Netanyahu came out and said that, hey, listen, I have to do what I have to do because they violated the ceasefire. Anyways, irrespective, that was the news from Trump that's come out in the past hour. Let's see if the ceasefire holds. If you do, for some extent, do see the ceasefire hold and markets do head higher after this, I would tend to believe that forget about all-time highs, we could be going way higher. We could even be closing the year about 10% higher if we're able to break out right now. I actually do believe that the tariff nonsense will have another 90-day uh, jump because, yeah, because you know what? He's just going to come out and say, hey, I've been having so much on my plate right now with the whole Iranian thing that's currently going on that I stopped a war and I did this. So now just give me another 90 days or 60 days or something like that in order to extend the tariffs. Uh, I don't think the markets are going to rally because of that because the markets have priced that in. What I do agree to the market not, I mean, what I do think that the market has not yet done is the fact that what I, the market is not currently discounting a July rate cut. And if it's not discounting a July, I know, that's what I was telling him. I was actually telling him that Trump sweared live. But anyways, so the the market's not discounting a 50 basis point or a 25 basis point cut in July. Obviously, 50 basis point might be too much to ask for because his testimony coming out today, he just came out with the speech saying that he's looking at uh, not cutting rates pretty soon. So it's a wait and see approach for him at the moment. So I don't really think he's going to be cutting anytime soon. Not like he's going to, anyways. He's not going to is also a way for him to dig at Trump, saying, hey, listen, I'm not doing what you're saying. Do you actually believe that if he did not? This is one thing that I was talking to Sean. What I do believe is that if Trump did not open his mouth, there's a higher chance that Powell might have cut or at least been more dovish compared to the fact that you have a president who's basically down your throat calling you a numbskull.
I've seen in finance, but not like I've seen, not like I keep around going seeing men in finance, but like he's the most unemotional guy out there, and he is genuinely data dependent, right? But I don't think it has to do with whether Trump opened his mouth or not. I think it has more to do with the fact that Trump is essentially pushing ahead with his tariffs with the bet that Powell will cave and cut. So Powell's like, I'm not going to change my economic policy. Why don't you cave? So it's genuinely a game of who blinks first. And from Powell's perspective, he can wait. He has the ammunition. Nothing's extremely bad macro wise, I guess.
About the fact of cutting rates. If not cutting rates in itself, but he needs to at least start talking about it. Because if he's, even in today's testimony, he's coming out and saying that he's not going to be talking about it, not talking about whatever the stuff is in his about the 25 basis point cut, which for some reason makes me think that, you know what, he should be at least in the bare minimum, he should be at least speaking dovish. Currently, he's just saying, hey, I'm just going to wait for the data. I'm just going to wait for the data. The data has gotten weaker. So, yeah, but his speech is already out, right? So they're just going to grill him for questions, but his speech is already out. He says that the Fed's wait and see approach to rate cuts is what is prepared remarks to lawmakers. So he's like tariffs are likely to push up prices and weigh on economic activity. So he's basically saying that you're screwing it up. So I'm just going to wait it out. Yeah, I mean, he is going to because I think the Dems would want him in place. But remember, he's a Republican at the end of the day. He was appointed by a Republican president. So he was appointed by Trump, continued by Biden, who's a Democrat, and now continued obviously again by Trump. But Trump is can't wait for him to throw him out. No, less than I think 7 months. 7 months to go, 7 to 8 months. I think 9 months actually. Yeah, so it's 2026 around that time. He's going to be heading out, and I can guarantee you one thing: the world might come to an end, but Powell's not getting another term. There is no way Trump's going to tell him saying you can continue to being the Fed chair. That's not happening. There is no way that that's happening. Yeah, that's true.
person to, whether it's Besant or it's anybody else. It'll be pretty interesting to see what the market reaction will be. Because if they really go very easy on the rates, market's going to lose a lot of confidence on all of the work that's been put in inflation. Yeah, Treasury S&P probably has more power to.
That might be something he might like, and possibly I would say something around the level of Howard Lutnick might be the guy that comes in to become the Fed chair, possibly. Not sure about it. I don't know if you're having issues with the chat. I mean, sorry, with the video. Are you guys able to see us clearly? Is working properly? Yeah, well, I just want to see if the video works and all that. Yeah, Sean says it's massive for Trump to swear. I mean, it shows the frustration. I think he's just had enough of all of them. And the fact is that no one's listening to him because he's been saying ceasefire, then it doesn't become a ceasefire, then there's violations to ceasefire, and then there's again a ceasefire. I think they've just like eventually just given up on this fact as to deciding what the hell is going on. Yeah, and it does pretty well, bro. It has no issues, does pretty well. And $4.20 for the flat fee. So yeah, and I mean perfect pricing as well. Yeah, and I think so. I don't know why Uber didn't fall on this news, but that was something that I was actually wanting to see whether Uber does take a hit. Uber for some reason didn't take a hit. Uber did end up, yeah, but up about 3%. That's a lot. That's not bad. But that's also because Uber, I mean, the current news is that Uber has launched autonomous ride hailing service in Atlanta with Waymo, following a similar launch in Austin. So that covers about 65 square miles and is available via the Uber app. So yeah, Uber that way is pretty strong. So I mean, I wouldn't bet on the fact that Uber is not doing well. Uber is pretty strong. So that is true. I think I'm gonna stick the next time to just one person going live, bro. We just have too many issues with. Yeah, How much is Tesla up? Another Tesla's up another 2.2%. So it's going to be breaking out from those levels. If it does break 367, that's pretty much going to be since the time that he left the White House and then went in, right? He went in there and then they had that big, huge Epstein files thing and everything else that was going on. So that's it's actually there. Palantir is hitting a new high again, 141.25. Dude, that shit just doesn't stop.
over over that period at least. Maybe with the exception of I don't know, Rheinmetall against I would say it's more of a recent phenomenon. Yeah,
Mm.
liquidity issues and settlement and things like that. Everyone wrote off Robinhood, and then dude, they just made a comeback. Like ultimately, I think people still it's still one of the most preferred trading platforms out there. So and they launched, I think, bank. I don't know. I think they're launching banking. I'm not sure, but they also have credit card, I guess. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Now heading towards 16. All-time high was at $28.26, but the highs that it made before the tariff nonsense was about 18. Yeah, so that's not bad. I mean, that's been doing well. I mean, it's recovering. All of these things are recovering, right, from their previous highs that have been crazy. Okay, so some news. Affirm and Moore Specialty Credit Platform on Tuesday announced an extension of their long-term capital partnership through May 2027. Moore has invested nearly 5 billion in Affirm's assets since beginning its capital partnership in 2017. And Affirm said it generated over 33 billion in GMV for the last 12 months. So yes, so you're seeing Affirm stock up about 3.07% pre-market to $64.10. Okay, so there you go. Have you had a look at this stock called as Chime? I think it's the only stock which seems to have fallen since the day of the IPO. Obviously, the IPO happened in 27. It jumped all the way to 44. And from 44, it's just had, yeah, they just fell all the way back down to 29. And they remind me of something that happened with CoreWeave as well, the way it fell and went back up. I'm not sure if this is going to happen with Chime because CoreWeave has an NVIDIA silver lining around it. But look at the other ones. Look at Hinge Health. Yeah, look at Hinge Health, another company. Fell down like crazy during the post the IPO and then just recovered back all the way up. So maybe Chime goes back to 44, 45. Who knows? And it wouldn't take too much, right? It takes the same buyers to come back in thinking that, okay, this is going to happen back again the same way it's happened to CoreWeave. Yeah, yeah, it could just go. I mean, look at Circle as well, right?
I'm not sure. All time high. Yeah. Even lemonade was yeah. Even lemonade was at what? You were at 120 or something. I'm not sure. Yeah. So uh, because we had like crazy zero interest rates, fintech stocks just took off. You don't need to get zero, even if you're reducing the interest rates by marginally, even if they're down from where they are today. I think all of this stuff should start bouncing back. Spending should come back.
Hopefully, they will be purchasing plenty from the US also. It was a great honor to make this happen. So, out of the deal, man. This time it worked. There's no taco this time. It actually did work. I mean, kudos to him for this statement. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Iran chose the concept saying, okay, screw nuclear. Let me sell what I have right now, oil, and let me make money. And I could deal with this 4 years later. Yeah. So Fed's hammock just came out and said that rate policy could be on hold for quite some time as Fed seeks clarity. I actually do believe this is going to be the first time that you're going to see a lot of members dissenting. About 5 to 6 members within the Fed might go in and say, hey, listen, we support a rate cut, while there would still be a majority of them saying that they don't support a rate cut. So could be. I mean, I believe it's going to be that way. I'm not sure if that actually happens that way, but I think it does seem likely that there would be a dissent. So we've seen Christopher Waller as well as Fed's President Hammock, Michelle Bowman. Both of them come out and say that they're looking forward that if they can possibly do a July rate cut. Now that's flipping to some of them coming out and saying, hey, we're not doing it. While Powell in his testimony today, in his prepared remarks, has come out and said that he is also looking at a wait and see approach. Anyways, so everyone new that's joining, just remember that we do this at about 7:30, 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern, uh, as a pre-market, 30 minutes post-market, and also a post-market at about, what time do we do the post-market? Sometimes at about 8 o'clock, 8:30. So join in for that. Make sure you guys subscribe. And yeah, you guys can go and watch. We put up some of those videos today as well. There's one coming up in a few days. Yeah. Fed Hammock says rate policy could be on hold for quite some time as Fed seeks clarity. Uh, okay. Would rather be slow and right than fast and wrong with monetary policy, is what she's saying. What if you're already wrong? That's my question. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Millions of customers in more than 4,000 rural communities across America by the end of 2025. Dude, the stuff that they do is just unbelievable. I mean, the speed with which you get what you want. Uh, Let me go ahead and see what this is. Trump expressed frustration with both sides, suggesting Israel's response to an Iranian missile launch was disproportionate and telling reporters that both countries don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah. I'm hoping someone knows something, right?
They essentially set out with certain objectives, and technically those objectives have been achieved. But I have a feeling that at least we're going to see this. I don't. I may be thinking too positively, but I'm guessing at least since their objectives have been achieved, and you know, uh, essentially Tehran can show that they did enough damage. I'm guessing both can essentially tell the people that hey, we did something. Maybe signing a ceasefire will be acceptable. Had this been completely, yeah, exactly, because
I think Iran must have back channeled a business proposal wherein they're able to sell their oil now to China willingly, easily, globally, everywhere else. And yeah, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, your only saving friend is China for Iran. And if you shut down their supply of oil, game's over, right? Most of their oil supply is coming from Saudi Arabia and Iran. So if,
production.
Saudi has been trying to teach a lesson to the other OPEC members for them basically cheating around and selling more oil than required. And that's the reason why oil's been lower, and that's fitting into Donald Trump's mechanism. But one thing I'm not sure about. Remember, again, you can't just start your rigs overnight and then expect it to be pumping oil day after in the morning. It's not going to happen. So, let's go over a few more of this stuff. Uh, you have the month end PCE that comes out. So that's going to be the inflation reading that comes out. It isn't, unless so. I mean, see, there is so much of good news already priced into the market that the only thing that can surprise the market is bad news at this moment. So till the time we don't have any of that nonsense going on, we're all good to go. I actually do believe that this month or next month we are going to see new highs. Let me just go see what's happening with the bond yield. 10-year bond yield is down at 0.58. So that's got to be right there. Sean comes in and says 5 minutes. Yeah, few more minutes to go before the market opens. We're still up 225 points. So we're up about 1.03% on the index. Yeah, oil was down. Yeah, oil was down about 3%. Uh, I mean, 10% yesterday. Now it's down another 3, 64.59 as of now. So the lower it goes, the higher the equity markets go for the time being. That's the inverse correlation that we've been talking about on the lives for a while. Okay, Powell in his testimony comes out and says he reaffirms the wait and see posture on cuts. He offers no immediate signal on rate cuts in prepared testimony. Uh, we are well positioned for the time being to learn more about the likely course of economy before adjusting policy. Increased tariffs likely to push up inflation and weigh on economic activity. Again, strong labor market has helped narrow demographic disparities when near full employment. Inflation somewhat about 2% target. The economy is solid despite elevated uncertainty. So he's seeing something that I'm not seeing for sure. Uh, the solid economy that he's seeing, I can't see that at this moment in terms of the employment data. For me, the employment data is still weakening. So be that as it may, yeah,
That gives us an idea how bad should things actually get before he starts to move. Like that sent a benchmark.
while the numbers we're getting per month are about 125,000. So what you're saying is that you're literally in the past 3 months removing an entire month of jobs data. So you can't come and tell me that that's a solid economy. Yeah, fair enough. People are not being fired.
Before he springs into action. I don't know because yeah, yeah. Just imagine if there's another 60-day extension for tariffs, and just it would be really hilarious if there's going to be another 60-day wait period for the Fed to essentially act, or if it's a 90-day. But hopefully that's not the case.
Thing I did see was Bank of America's Brian Moynihan, the CEO, came out and said that consumer spending was up 4.5% compared to the previous year. So, I mean, yeah, fair enough. That's a solid economy metric. But if consumer spending is up 4.5% from the previous year, what about the tariff impacts that everyone's been talking about? Are you sure that that's going to be coming into the markets? Because I don't think so. Because if you have consumer spending already picking up with a heightened tariff environment, which eventually over the weeks started reducing, right? I'm not sure how that's going to work out.
And the prices revisions don't kick in immediately. It takes time. The other factor being consumer spending is largely driven by access to credit. And even though you had pretty high interest rates, I mean, relatively high interest rates compared to historical interest rates in the States in the last 5 years. The fact that consumer spending is actually increasing or increased by even 5%, which means that people are, obviously spending more, but institutions are lending more, and default rates have not really crept up. That's another fascinating thing. So yeah,
57. The Dow is up about 290 and the S&P is up about 0.68 that you were saying, right? About 41 points. The Russell is up about 0.7. So as of now, the Nasdaq is leading. Most stocks are up. Uh, Let me see what else is going on here. A firm's up about 4.79%. That's because it's had that move with more capital management. So let's see what happens there. Uh, do you have anything else going crazy? Amazon's up about 1.5%. Mm, let me see. Mm. Gilead came out with a HIV vaccine type injection for $28,000. Incredible stuff, man. Yeah, that would be fun though. You got Crypto Guardian in the house saying long, long, long BTC. Yeah, you should. If you have no issues, BTC will go higher. Tesla's up about 0.76, which is still pretty decent. I mean, all said and done, from the low 3 weeks back of about 278, 280, all the way up higher now. Yup. So he has no choice. What else is he going to do now? I mean, in all essence, he has nothing else to do. He can't go back, right? Nobody likes him. So what's he going to do now? I mean, I think he overdid on those shrooms a little bit, and that's what made him feel bad and got it all out. But yeah, at the moment, I don't really think he's going to be able to go back. I mean, I think whatever they needed him to do with Doge, they got it done. And they were like, take care, see you later, bye bye. Yeah, and in return, I mean, Trump bought a car, right? So, billions, man. But I'm very sure he said, you know what, in return, I'll just buy a car from you. So that's what happened. Okay, US home prices, the information's come out, fell about 0.4% on a seasonally adjusted basis. That's the first time I've actually heard that the prices have been falling to that much of an extent. Metros that saw the biggest pandemic run-ups are seeing larger price drops. Okay, no bad. So there is one thing that's happening. No one's buying homes because of the interest rates being so high. And those that are selling homes are not ready to reduce the price. Eventually, someone has to, right? And I would guess the sellers will, because Powell's not giving into cutting rates. So I think that's going to continue for a while, at least for now. Mm, Crude futures fall by 6% after Trump says China can buy Iranian oil. So, I mean, if there's one thing that I could short the living daylights out of, it would be oil. The administration does not even want to look at that price go anywhere near 78. And I was talking to a friend of mine today, and I was telling him that, if you actually do see 75, 78 come back again at any point of time, go into your bomb shelters, because it's the end of everything. It basically means that the shit show has begun all over again if we jump up like 10, 15% on oil.
a lot of people must have probably gone long oil over the week, the weekend, I guess, or not the weekend, but essentially the week before. And the exact opposite happened. I genuinely thought it was, yeah.
It's priced in. I was telling Sean this today. Remember one thing: markets don't care about headlines; they care about outcomes. That's it. The outcome in the war was America was going to win. The market went up. It doesn't give a damn. It doesn't give a damn at all about this whole bullshit thing. Oh, will they strike? Will they not strike? Will this happen? Will that not happen? No one gives a shit. Okay, markets are way smarter than that. They're not interested in headlines, they're interested in outcomes. The reason they collapsed that much during the tariffs was because the outcome was negative, and it was way more negative than what people anticipated. The outcome here was the guy went in, flew planes from America all the way down to Iran, bombed the living daylights, left that place and came back. How long do you think, even if think of this hypothetically, even if they got their ground forces in to Iran, my bet is in less than 2 months they would be having control. Maybe even a month, they would have had control just because of their air superiority, their naval superiority, and their military superiority. No, I'm just saying, like as a concept, it would still be a brilliant buying opportunity just because of the fact that the market loves the outcomes rather than the headlines. Which is why we even when we saw the market fall, even when we saw oil go up overnight on a Saturday Sunday scenario, you didn't see the Nasdaq fall on Monday morning. It was down less than 1% and it closed in the green at 1% higher. So, and we were live. I was actually live at that time and telling everybody that, hey, listen, this shit's not gonna last. You guys can actually go back and see the live video that I've edited and put out, and it's clearly visible there, right? And for everyone that's new, just you know that we do this at about 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock before the market opens, and 30 minutes post the market opens. So subscribe, and I think there's a bell. Hit the bloody bell. That's how you get to know that we're live. Yeah, sorry, Nikhil, you were saying. Yeah, it turned out to be the 12-day war. That's what they want him to call it, right? He wants to call it the 12-day war now. They had the 6-day war, now he wants the 12-day war. What do we say, man? I mean, it's just another Netflix show that's going to be made now. That is exactly what's going to happen. I mean, that's what I'm betting on. That's how it turns out. I'm not certain that it works out that way, but my bet is that that would more than likely be the case in point. Anyways, let me go ahead and see what else is going on here. Currently in the market, because let's see, air defense is activated in northern Iranian city after explosions heard. I don't know what that is. That happened 9 seconds back, so I'm not really sure what that is exactly. But maybe I can figure that out. If that is a form of, let me say, anything related to a ceasefire violation, it could get really ugly. Like, it could really get ugly then. Last thing you want is a ceasefire violation. Ah, sorry, I think we lost Nikhil. Yeah, I mean, if he does come in, then I'm gonna add him into the. But I think we lost him. Anyways, let me just go ahead with what I was trying to tell you guys, which is that yes. So if these air defenses have been activated in the northern Iranian city, and Israel for some reason has something to show that it is going to cause a massive hit on Iran, it could get really ugly, man. I mean, that could actually be really, really ugly. We got Chris in the house. Chris says Trump is so vulnerable. He was really thinking there's going to be a ceasefire. That's true, man. I think he does believe that everybody's going to agree to what he's saying, right, Chris? That's something.
We
Yeah,
lost the
Nikhil.
stream for a second.
No, I was there. So, anyways, Chris came in and said that Trump is so vulnerable. He was really thinking that there's going to be a ceasefire. You know what makes me contrarian the most is JP Morgan traders came out and said that it's time to get bulled up again. Maybe it's not too bad. I don't know why. And Chinese foreign minister comes out and says China's in contact with Iran, Israel, and hopes to see a real ceasefire. I mean, I love the Chinese, man. It's just incredible. So the triple Q is about $5 away from an all-time high, and the SPY is about $10 away from an all-time high. Fascinating world. Imagine the amount of people that would have just stayed away from investing just because of the scenario that they believe is, that shit's going to hit the fan at any moment now. Mhm.
Invested, that play out, all said and done. Yeah, all said and done, Kramer does make way, way more money than us. But yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, so I don't think a lot is happening.
See reports. So I'm not sure if that's actually true, but if that is, and there is some, I don't know what semi-official means actually. So see, that's weird for me. But I'm guessing they're trying to have a mostly peaceful ceasefire. I don't think it's a ceasefire. I think it's a mostly peaceful, which means we'll send some and you send some, just so that we know that we don't like each other. So we're just going to send. I don't know who that is going to be though. Yeah.
Quite a few times, but I think that's all that depends on. But I think something very weird started happening, which is markets just stopped caring about bad news. I don't know why. I don't really know the reason why, but it just maybe there's so much of bad news and uncertainties being pushed in now that the markets just stop caring about things.
Whether oil goes up, whether it goes down, it was clear that whatever said and done, America was winning, right? And the barometer to everything was the inverse correlation between the price of oil and the price of equity markets. And like we said before, if the price of oil collapses, equity markets will rally. Today, you're seeing the NASDAQ up about 250 points up, which is pretty much 0.63% of it. Do you not think that we can go up another 0.5% and get it to an all time high today? Quite possible, right? Like Wage Freedom says, right? Oil price speaks louder than anything else. In all essence, I mean, that's true.
And then it's back again in a matter of a few weeks.
0.5% away from an all time high, you already lost most of the returns. Right. I mean, at the end of it, like I keep saying to everyone that you're here to make money. You're not here to be right geopolitically or diplomatically. The thing here is to make money. Right. So you just have to tune out all this stupid noise that's been going on any which ways and just start looking at it from a little bit more holistically to figure out that what you're actually looking at here is two people and their egos being larger than usual. And both of them realizing that, hey, listen, we got to listen to the big man sitting on the other side of the waters of the Atlantic because he can literally fly his planes, reach me, and literally bombard the living daylights out of me. So that is something that I think actually scared pretty much everyone in the Middle East because they realized that, hey, if we push ourselves too much against America, if they can just fly their B-2s from Missouri for 37 hours, bomb us, and leave and go back home, they don't really need to bring ground forces. Just think about it.
But I think what's going to essentially happen now is, again, this is assuming that there's going to be a proper ceasefire. Now, right now, the focus has shifted from tariffs to oil. I think the focus is going to shift back to tariffs and Liberation Day. Exactly, so we're going to be back to the same discussions. Yeah, this has been a good distraction from tariffs. That's all.
Other one that we're going to be looking at is the fact that at the back of all of this, I'm pretty sure that trade negotiations were still going on. Because do remember that you don't need Besant to be talking about Iran, right? You don't need Howard Lutnick to be dealing with Iran. You need maybe the Vice President Vance and you need the President Trump, right, to do something. And you need Defense Secretary and Steve Witkoff and all of these guys to get something done. This is not the scale of the Treasury Secretary. So my guess is that we haven't heard a lot about the tariff news, and there is a lot of pending tariff deals that are yet to be signed. So my bet is that in the next 2 weeks, before you get to the deadline, you are going to see a lot of good news coming about tariffs because it's a lot of pent up demand of these tariffs that was pending to just get signed by Trump, which he could not focus on because of the Iranian stuff. Oh no, bro, they don't need a deal. We're not doing deals here. We're making deals to make deals. Yeah, we just need to tell everybody around that, hey, listen, we're making deals about eventually making a deal. That's all we're interested in. We're not exactly. We're meeting in order to decide when are we next meeting. That's about it. And yeah, this is like the chicken and egg story. We can just keep going on and on about this, but there is nothing going to come out of any of this. And the easiest thing between UK and US for their trade deal to work out was because America buys less from the UK and UK buys more from America. So America runs a trade surplus with UK. So in all essence, it's easy to get a deal done when you have a trade surplus with the country. Everywhere else, it's a trade deficit. But think of it this way, right? Actually, it pretty much worked out well for them with Brexit because they would have had to be under this chicken and egg story of this whole, oh, will Spain agree to this? Will Germany agree to this? Will someone else agree to this? Just for the whole Eurozone to come together in order to get a deal done with Trump. Right. Today, if Germany and France are agreeing to something, Spain might not agree to something. An EU's issue, right? It's happening today. Trump's been saying Spain needs to spend more money for its defense spending. Germany and France agree to it. Spain says no. So you can't really get a deal done, right? Is that me or is that you? Oh, he's surviving, bro. He's surviving. He's surviving. Yeah, he's surviving. He he missed the B-2 bomber bombs. Yeah, he was at Fordo. So these are shrapnel on his face, and that's what's happening right now. Anyway, let me just see what's happening with the market. 258 up on the Nasdaq, 344 up on the Dow. What are we? 6077, 52.94. Nikhil, you sure you were not in Iran, right? Yeah, okay. Okay. Now you're getting me worried. Anyways, that's currently yeah, fair enough. Then you're okay then. Yeah, that's fine. The Chinese are getting their oil because Hormuz is not shut. So that's been working out pretty well, right? Anyways, everyone joining in, go ahead, subscribe. We're doing this as post market again. Once the market closes, you'll get a notification and a bell icon. Do all of that stuff. I don't know how to say all of that, but just subscribe and hit that bell or whatever it is. So when we go live, you get a notification. Anyways, let me see. Do we have anything more that's currently spot gold falls about 2%, man? How badly is oil down? Oil's down about 2.61. Gold's down about 2%. That's a bad day for gold, man, after a really, really long time. I don't even know the last time it was down 2%. Let me actually go and find that out. 14th May 2025. Yeah, it's gonna get bad, bro. Silver's down about 1.81% as well. The dollar index is steady, 0.22% down, so it's not too bad. Some of the stocks are literally going crazy. Look at Reddit, bro. 6.27% higher. Look at that energy drink maker Celsius, 6% higher almost. Incredible stuff. They're up 6. Maybe what you bought is up 2. Saving grace. Yeah. It's all about your returns, but it's not about relative returns. Don't worry about that. Anyway, the AMD is up about 4%. I actually do tend to think that AMD has pretty much beaten Nvidia in the past few weeks. At least, like when I look at it from 13th June, I am seeing AMD go up from 115 to 135, while Nvidia just went from like 145 to like playing around in that same range. It's not really been crazy.
So just a yeah. So I mean, they're still growing at 30. I mean, 30%. Yeah. I mean, if you look at last quarter, compare Q1 2025 to Q1 2024, that's a 35.9% jump. And these guys are cash rich, dude. They just have a lot of cash lying around. I don't think you have to because I have a feeling there's enough space so that AMD's a lot of AMD's business still comes from consumers, if not, and not a large chunk. But then the data center business is doing pretty well. Mm, I don't know, man. I think the market's big enough for both. You got TSMC, you got Nvidia, you got AMD. Obviously, AMD and TSMC they do a few more things, but yeah, I think there's enough space for both.
Continue to build. They might not overtake Nvidia in market cap for sure, but what I do believe is that there is a high chance that they might perform better, right? A lot more buying could come in for them and they could perform better as well. Quite likely. I wouldn't rule that out from that perspective. So let me just see a few more things. Let me see what's happening. A firm had some deals, so it's up about 3.3%, 6% on Celsius. Chime is still down about 0.87%. Chime is down 5.87%. Few of the other stocks, they're still down. I mean, they haven't yet recovered. So I think Nichols get having some form of an issue when it comes to his internet. So okay, cool. So Nichols out. It's just me here. Okay, I'm just gonna try seeing if we have something in news that's come out, which is pretty cool. Microsoft's gonna cut some of their jobs. Mm, yeah, the president's a bit upset today. In all news, he's pretty upset because his words were Iran and Israel have been fighting for so long that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So he's pretty pissed. And I'm guessing that's his way of saying that end whatever this is. It must end right now. This shit can't keep going on. And I don't know. Let's see if that happens. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if it happens. If the ceasefire actually does hold, right? Trump on oil says that he loves that the price dropped. Now, remember, this is something that I've been saying. Bank of America CEO Moynihan came out and said that consumer spending is up about 4.5% versus last June. If the economy was not solid, we wouldn't be seeing that to some extent. Possibly it could be higher income spending as well. So we would need to go in and see what the consumer spending is all about. But as of now, the CEO of Bank of America, Brian Moynihan, says consumer spending up about 4.5% versus last June. Aussie Crosby comes in, says, imagine hating your own country so much that you're angry about not going to war. I don't know, man. You're right about it. I'm certain about that. But maybe sometimes you just want to. The military guys and everybody else, the industrial complex just wants to make some money. So maybe that's it. Who knows? Right? Could possibly be. No, that's okay. Could possibly be. Could possibly be a scenario that's happening. I mean, we're just talking. Ozzy was just saying that. Imagine hating your own country so much that you're angry about not going to war. I mean, I don't know what to say about that one. It's
that. It's just purely
that's
about
true,
money.
but not our circle of competence. He still continues to say that he would like to see tensions come down, probably meet Ukraine Zelensky at NATO. Okay. Trump says Iran's not going to have a nuclear weapon. He says it's the last thing on their mind right now. He just blew up their he just blew up all of their nuclear facilities, and he's like, yeah, they don't care about it. It's nothing. I mean, that's okay.
I mean, that was becoming a little more bit of a reality if this war prolonged. I think that's probably what he means.
I would just make an economic deal with Trump and everybody else so that I could get a lot more money right now. Just so that 4 years later I could come in and do whatever I want. Right.
The whole idea behind
The fact that now that in perspective, I'm saying now you're literally starting from scratch, right? So I'm thinking about it from that angle. Like you pretty much have nothing left now. So what's the point of even talking about nuclear when you don't have anything nuclear?
everyone's having a blast. What about yeah? Uh,
But yeah,
I think Powell's testimony is starting in what 3 minutes, I guess.
streaming it to everyone, but it's going to be so boring. His prepared remarks already say he's not going to cut. Economy is solid, job market is okay, inflation's near target. Dude, I could write a speech right now and it'll be the same speech that he comes up with. He's been saying this same shit for the past few months, and I'm actually in Trump's camp right now about the Fed rate cuts. I do believe 25 basis points is not hurting anybody if you start cutting. I'm not saying you need to be too late and you need to cut like 300 basis points and 200 basis points, but 25 at least speak of the trajectory of prices coming lower, interest rates coming lower. The job market is weakening, bro. I have been the biggest Trump Powell supporter for the past 3 years, all through COVID. And I'm the first one to admit that, hey, this is a potential time where he actually might turn out to be too late. And remember, he did this in 2022 as well.
But that number can also change. That frequency.
Right? If not too much, at least something. Because it's not going to float too well if it goes on for too long. You are going to start seeing dissent coming through, and that's going to come through from most people out in the FOMC. It's not just Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman that are currently saying it. Again, remember, Michelle Bowman saying it, she was considered the biggest hawk. She was a Republican, and under a Democrat president, she said, I'm never going to cut rates. It's never going to happen. Yeah, yeah. So,
Hawk, HAWK. Sorry, just in case anybody misheard that, like me. Okay.
I don't know what I was saying. Yes, so she was basically whatever she was. She was basically always going to be saying that I'm not going to cut rates. And it eventually did turn out to be cutting rates purely because they had to, right? The economic data started weakening. That was one. Two, on the other hand, you were looking at a concept that now that she was selected to become the Fed vice chair of surveillance or supervisory board or whatever the hell it is, it's now looking pretty likely that she's like, hey, listen, now I want to cut because it's my president and it's a Republican administration and they elected me. So I'm going to support what the Trump says. I believe all of these guys are giving interviews to become the Fed chair by coming out and saying that, hey, we support Fed rate cuts. Everybody just doesn't want to be sitting across the table. They want to be the head of the table. That's what it's come down to.
The king. I was about to say kiss the king. Do not kiss the king. Sorry, I mean kiss the ring of the king.
Who knows, bro? Who knows? I don't know. There could be a lot of shit going on, man. Maybe that's part of the Epstein files. Who knows? 5 people in this channel, but it's okay. Who gives a shit? Yeah, you're okay, man. Even if you had one, they'll deport you now. So it doesn't even matter. Oh my lord. Anyways, we'll call it quits, bro. I'm gonna do the post market. Everyone that's new here, go ahead, subscribe. You will join in for the notification on the post market live. Nikhil hopefully will take some rest and look better the next time he joins in so that he doesn't look like is he even alive, bro.
Man, oh my god. I love that. Thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Well, we should fix up whatever the hell the problem is. We'll try doing that. Okay. Everyone go ahead and enjoy your Tuesday. I will see you on Tuesday evening once the market closes. Take care, everyone. See ya. Thanks for joining in.